Hi. Today I sat down to talk with Dr. Kyle LeDuc of Connection Chiropractic in Minnetonka. And in our time together, we talked about ergonomics, stretching advice. He gave us two different types of daily stretches that he recommends for stylists, for us as practitioners to do to open up our back muscles, stretch out our necks and our upper back, and really align the spine. He also gives us advice on how to maintain, what to do for the long haul for career longevity. And then he also gives a bonus for students of the academy so that they could get a free first visit, which includes an exam and a plan for you for wellness. So listen to this episode, take it to heart, enjoy. And if you have any questions, of course, reach out. And also, I will be adding in links for the chiropractic, how you can book, and videos that he recommends so that you can see the stretches that you can implement those right now for free in your everyday practice. All right, listen in and enjoy.
Hello, Lynn. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the call today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. This is
Of
great.
course. Yes.
Much appreciated. I'm glad we have a little time
Yeah.
to
This is
connect.
great to see you. And I'm so thankful for being out there back in, gosh, it was April already. It seems like it was just yesterday when I was out there for the
I
chair massage
know.
event. So I kind of want to be a resource for you guys any way I can with chiropractic or just health knowledge, wellness, ergonomics. So, I mean, do we want to do like kind of a Q&A? Do you just want me to present on a few things, or what do you think would be most valuable for you and your team?
I think both, all of the above. I
Okay.
definitely would like to talk to you about ergonomics. That's a big pain point for us, and what we
Yeah.
tend to see the chiropractic most for is the way that we hunch and we change our wrist positions. And some of us
Yes.
are permanent makeup artists, and so the way that we'll contort our bodies to get to a certain body part and then
Yes.
stay in that position, it leads to a lot of stiffness and joint and kinds of issues. So, any tips you have for that for stylists of all kinds would be very helpful. We'd love to know
Absolutely.
what you have to say about that.
Absolutely. It's an interesting topic because the nature of your work is just naturally going to be tough on the spine, right? There's not much you can do to get around it, unfortunately, with being a hairstylist or doing makeup or anything like that. It's tough on the back. And my former office manager, she was actually a hairstylist for several years before she worked for me. And she would tell me story after story about how much her neck and back would hurt at the end of a day, at the end of a long work day of working on people's hair for 8, 10 hours straight. It's tough. It's a tough position because you got to kind of hunch forward. Your shoulders are kind of always up, and there's really not much you can do in the setting to get around it. Otherwise, you would probably be taught that way already, right? So, other than what you guys teach, I'm sure at the school to use the best form you can when you work on people, that that's the biggest thing. But what we can do is we can counteract and offset a lot of the work you're doing with spine stretches, with spine exercises, and even chiropractic therapies that we offer outside of your work, right? So the nature of your work is going to put the spine out of alignment, but we can at least start to bring it back to normal if we take care of it on a regular basis. The main thing I see that I really want to help prevent is people who, especially in the field you're in with doing hair and nails and makeup and a lot of that, is they unfortunately oftentimes wait until it becomes a big problem, until they're in pain before they start taking care of it, right? They wait until they have the really bad neck pain or they have the pain shooting into their arm or their fingers, and then they start to do something about it. Then they come see me, then they come get adjusted, and then they start to work on their posture. I would recommend, and every other chiropractor out there would recommend, that they be proactive about it. And they really start to maintain their spine now before it starts to become more painful down the road. It's much easier to keep it good and keep it feeling great rather than trying to fix it once you're in a bunch of pain, because then you're already a ton of adjustments behind, you're already a ton of exercises behind, and it's so much easier just to maintain it ahead of time. So that's, I guess, number one point would be,
Yeah.
even if you're feeling good, even if you're just getting started in your career, we would recommend putting together some type of plan for longevity for your career. I'm sure you maybe see this a lot, Lynn, as people maybe burn out physically with the type of work that they might do because they're not taking care of themselves. So that's number one.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
and we see this a lot when stylists start and they're in their teens and 20s and they're feeling good and they're like, I could do this all day. But then day after day of being like
Hmm.
this, and then over time, that's years and years of being like this. So,
Yeah.
we can't, even now, me in my 30s at this point, I can feel the difference. I don't have the longevity that I did for a workday like I did 10 years ago. But it makes sense, right? That if we are doing this for 8, 10 hours a day, we can't just undo that with one chiropractic visit.
Exactly. Great point and great analogy. I have people come in, they've been doing physical work for 30, 40 years straight, and they think they're going to get better in one or two visits. That's just not
Yeah.
realistic for anybody. It's like if you're, 50 to 100 pounds overweight, it's going to take some serious work in the gym, right, to get back in shape. And same thing goes with your spine. If you've been neglecting it for months or years, it's going to take a little bit of time and repetition, but your future self is going to thank you for taking care of it now and not waiting until it's a bigger problem. So really, really good point. So this is something that you can really, we'll start with the wellness side, which is kind of the preventative side, and then we'll get into maybe some of the crisis prevention and fixing things once you are, if you do get to the point where you're in pain. But number one is
Right.
there's two things we can really do. Number one is posture stretches and exercises to counteract and offset a lot of the hunching forward that you might do with your work. So there's two basic ones that I recommend really anybody who's doing hair, doing anything in cosmetology, anything with nails, lashes, makeup, because it's all looking down, it's all bending forward, and it's all focusing on the person they're serving. So we need to
Yeah.
counteract a lot of that by bringing the shoulders back, bringing the head back. And there's two really easy ones we can do. I'll share these videos with you too, Lynn. There's videos I've made that are a lot easier to see than me right now. So I'll send
Oh,
you links to
awesome.
those as well.
That'd
But
be
I'll just
great.
kind of demonstrate them here right now so you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking for. I'm going to turn my chair to the side here so you can see me a little bit better. But the first one, you can see me here, is typically we're rounded forward, right? Like this. We want
Yeah.
to sit up nice and tall, and the exercise is going to be twofold. We're going to bring our shoulders back here. So you can see I'm bringing my shoulders back, and then I bring my chin straight back as well. So shoulders and chin. And I kind of make this
Oh.
position here. And what you want to do here is you want to hold for about 5 seconds and then go back to neutral. And then go back again and neutral. And that's an exercise for maintenance. I would recommend people do 20 reps twice per day. Doesn't take
Ooh.
longer than a minute to do, but it does a ton of benefit for your spine. A couple key points with this is you want to keep the top of the back relaxed when you do this. So a
Oh,
lot of people go like this. You actually
sure.
want to keep this relaxed and you just engage at the scapular retractors. So it's kind of like this muscle back here. You're pulling back on those muscles. So you pull back with your shoulder blades and then you pull back with your chin and you keep your trap muscles relaxed, right? Like that.
Yes, I love
You're
this.
doing it
The
perfectly, Lynn. Looks great.
great. The first time we did it just now, I
Yep.
got some cracks right here.
Well, that's
I
a
was like, hey,
bonus. That's a bonus right there. Awesome. So
yeah.
that's exercise number one. I recommend this not just for people in your field, but also people who are at a desk a lot, at a computer a lot. Maybe they do a lot of driving where they're rounded forward. This can really help counteract and offset a lot of that. So that's exercise number one. Now, exercise number two is a little bit more specific for the neck and upper back muscles and actually getting them to release. And the cool thing with this exercise is you don't need any equipment, you don't need any fancy bands, foam rollers for this, and it's just a chair basically is all you need. And what you're going to do is you sit up nice and tall, and we'll start with the left side. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to put it under my left leg. So it's going to go under my leg that I'm sitting on, and I'm actually going to lean my head away from that arm. So you can't see me right now, but my hand is under my leg and I'm leaning away from that side that I'm sitting on. And you should feel a big stretch across the side there. Yep. And then as I'm holding that stretch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the stretch and I'm going to slowly rotate my head down. And now you should feel the stretch moving towards the front of your neck. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I keep that stretch and now I'm going to look straight up and rotate my head up.
Ooh,
Yep. And this is one you can get a pretty deep stretch if you're doing it right. You can really get deep. So just kind of feel
Yeah.
that, listen to your body, and just hold that for about 20 seconds on that side. And then we'll switch to the other side and do the same thing.
Woo.
You just lean away, we look up, and we look down. And you feel that big stretch across the whole side of the neck there, back to neutral. Yep.
Wow. That you can feel that. That
Yeah.
yes.
So
Just
that's a
being just what should the other hand be doing if the hand that we're working on goes under the leg, where
yep.
does the other hand go?
The other hand can just rest on your lap. It doesn't have to go anywhere specifically, just rest on your lap. You want to make sure that that side's relaxed. So if I'm leaning to my right, you don't want to go like this. You want to keep that shoulder down. So you're not kind of like this, but it's down and relaxed. Yeah. So that those two, I mean, there's many more we could give you, but I want to start with those two, and those will, work on 90% of the symptoms somebody might have in your work with the work you do. So
Yeah,
that's
those
the
are
first
big.
component. Yeah, they're awesome. I do them myself a lot too, and they can really help a lot with the shoulders and upper back. So that's the first component are the stretches. Now the other component is more of the passive component, which is actually the chiropractic side. And that's where I would come in too. So we can stretch and we can exercise our spine, but what's even more important is the alignment of your back. If your back is already out of alignment and your posture isn't that good, you can do a lot of exercises and get some good relief. But if you really want to well round this thing, you want to do the adjustments as well too to get the spine moving better and actually to realign the posture. And that's what we specialize a lot in our clinic. We have digital X-rays, so we can take a full X-ray of your spine. We can see specifically which vertebrae are out. We can draw some angles and measurements to really see where you're out of alignment, and then put together a customized plan to get you fixed and get your posture back to where you need to be too. So
That's great. And when people come in for a chiropractic visit, how long are those visits?
great question. So the first visit is a little bit longer. It's usually about 30 to 45 minutes where we do more, discovery about you. We want to learn about your health. What are some of your goals, whether it's longevity and maintenance, or we're getting rid of some acute pain that's maybe just shown up. And then once we learn more about you, we do a full spine examination. We take any necessary x-rays and we do some really gentle work on that first visit. And then after that, most visits are pretty quick. Usually they're about 10 to 20 minutes tops, where we do our adjustments, we do some therapies, we go over some stretches with you, and we get you on your way. So patients love the convenience. They don't want to be able to, waste an hour out of their day at a doctor's appointment. They're busy, they have busy lives. So we want to make it flexible for everybody where you can schedule during our hours pretty much any time and get it in and out in a pretty efficient manner too.
Exactly. Yeah, doing those stretches twice a day, 20 seconds a day, and then being
Yes,
able to go into a chiropractic visit for 15, 20 minutes, definitely accessible, definitely doable.
yes. And I just think of the people in your field, Lynn, who are getting started or maybe just getting started and they want to have a long career ahead of them. They want to be doing this for 5, 10, maybe 15, 20 years, right? They want to have a long career and build a business around what they know how to do, attract a lot of lifetime clients. Well, you got to take care of yourself first, right? And not just your own training and skills, but you got to take care of your mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health. And chiropractic, what we do here, treating the entire person, making sure their entire nervous system is working better, not just so you feel good, but even more importantly, so your body actually starts to function better. Because really, that's the big idea behind chiropractic is we're going to get you to feel great. We're going to relieve some of your pain. We're going to improve your posture. But in addition, the big chiropractic idea is that it helps the entire body work better by helping the nerve system work better too. So
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's just it, career longevity. This is a very physical enterprise. So we have to take care of our instrument just like we take care of our other tools. This is the
yeah,
only body we get, so we need to
yes.
maintain it.
Absolutely. And I even talk to myself too. My job is very physical. I have to adjust people all day. I'm up and down working on spines. A lot of people are bigger than me, so I have to do different techniques to really get their spine to move. And that can be tough on the chiropractor's back. So even for myself, I make sure that I'm getting adjusted. I'm using the decompression therapies. I'm doing all the other things, the stretches to maintain my spine as well too, because it's so important really for any field. whatever you do, you have to take care of your body if you want to be successful and have longevity in your career.
That's a very good point. Would what would you say for in between doing services, in between appointments? Let's say there's a 1 hour appointment where someone is in a hunching position or a crouching position doing a service. What
Yeah,
would you say they should do in between services? Should there be a downtime, a lag, a stretch time and a walking around time, getting the blood moving? What would you say should be an interim period between services?
absolutely. Great question, Landon. Of course, number one, everybody's schedule is different, right? I'm not sure how you guys schedule your appointments, but I would recommend you have some type of break between appointments so you're not going back to back, even if it's 5 minutes, right? Just 5 minutes getting up. I would recommend walking around. If you're sitting here, I would for sure stand up and just walk around the facility once. Doing anything to offset that posture. So those exercises we just went over, you could do some of those to stretch, reset the posture, and then go back in. A lot of people like foam rollers. If you have foam rollers, so those are maybe hard to do in certain areas, but foam rolling is really good, especially for the middle and upper back, to really open up the shoulders as well too. Yeah, great question. You should do something for sure between clients.
Yeah, and the foam roller, that's something that goes underneath your neck, or does that go under your back? How do you utilize
Yeah, the
that?
foam roller. So I have one in the office. I'll actually send you a video of those too that you
Oh,
guys can
great.
watch. It's a video of me just demonstrating how to use the foam roller. You can use it on your spine, you can use it on your legs, your hips, and it's basically a long like foam tube that you can roll out your muscles on to help release some of the muscles and kind of bring circulation to those muscles so that it feels good and it's also really good for the spine as well too.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Circulation is so important. Like we're
Yes,
talking about the spine alignment, all of that, and the muscle tension, but definitely the circulation is a big issue too, especially if you're doing something like lashes where you're moving maybe inches during an
exactly.
appointment. You're not
Yeah.
physical.
And I'm sure if you're not aware of it, you can correct me on this, but maybe if you're not aware of it, you tend to just like freeze almost, right? The muscles just get stuck like in that one position because you're so fine tuned on that one spot.
Exactly. Yeah, you're pretty much in
Yeah.
one position with very minimal movement, so you're like tight for that
Oh, yeah.
service period.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a couple other like specialized type of treatments too that can really decompress the spine if you're kind of like bunched up a lot, especially in the neck. There's one called spinal decompression, which is a therapy that actually stretches the neck and can actually pull the bones apart. It feels really amazing and it's really good for the posture and upper back. And then there's another one called intersegmental traction therapy too, which is kind of like a big massage table that you lay on and it rolls up and down your spine and helps open up some of the vertebrae as well too.
Oh my gosh, yes, and I can speak to that, the decompression. I once years ago
Yeah.
had that and so I was laying down on my back and after
Yep.
being relaxed, the practitioner pulled on my neck, pulled up,
Yep.
and I could feel every vertebrae pop all the way down and it was amazing. And I still
Yes.
think about that, like just a complete, I felt taller afterwards.
It's amazing, Lynn. I'll tell you what, I get adjusted as often as I can. And whenever I get adjusted, I get that done on me too. And I do it to patients too, but it's just a traction with the neck, a nice, easy pull, and it opens up the entire neck. But you oftentimes feel it even into your middle and lower back if it's a good adjustment too. Pretty awesome.
Yes, cannot recommend that enough.
For
Amazing.
sure.
Yes. So how can people book with you? How can they find you?
Absolutely. So a couple ways you can look us up online. Our website is connectionchiromn.com. We're Connection Chiropractic. We're in Minnetonka off Highway 7 and 101, so not too far from your studio. You guys are in St. Louis Park, correct?
Yes.
So not too far. If somebody wants to book, we're actually letting everybody at your studio come in for one free exam, x-rays, and adjustment. They just have to
Amazing.
mention, yeah, they just have to mention that they're with you guys, and we'll have that first visit be completely complimentary on us. Take a look and see how we can help them. In addition, Lynn, I'll send you a
That's
link where people can actually book right online for an appointment. They just got to click a few buttons and they can book their appointment right online too.
beautiful. That's the best way to do it. We preach that all the time is have an
Yes,
online booking software so people can book
so easy.
24/7.
Yes, patients love. We have an app too. We have a booking app, so patients love it. It sends them a text reminder. If they have to move it or cancel, they can just reschedule right on the app. It's so convenient and so easy.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for gifting the free exams